This is a tutorial on how to use Twedit. The first thing is how to open Twedit. I will close mine and show you. So the first way is by double-clicking a shortcut on your desktop. The second is by searching on your search bar or application search tool for Twedit and then pressing enter. There is another way. If you don't have a shortcut set up and you installed CompuCell via Conda, then open your Conda prompt or your terminal if you're on Mac or Linux. Activate your CompuCell3D environment. Then run this command, python -m cc3d.twedit5, and Twedit should open. If it crashes or there is an error, probably the installation was not successful. In this case, you should go to CompuCell3D subreddit and create a post explaining what happened, and we will help you out. Now the next most basic thing is how to open a simulation in Twedit. So this button here opens the CC3D project. If you click here, it will open a file explorer window. Here you navigate to your project folder and double click the CC3D extension file. If you double click this, the project is now available in the CC3D project manager, this window here in the left. And if you double click this, it will open all the files contained in your simulation folder. Sometimes people close the project manager, this window over here, like this, and they don't know how to recover it. To recover it, just go to CC3D project menu, this menu over here, and then all the way down here, there is this option called Show Project Panel. This recovers the project panel, this window in the left. Next, I will show you how to create a simulation from scratch. First, I will close this project I have opened by right-clicking the project in the project panel and then clicking Close Project. Now I will go to the CC3D project menu and click on New CC3D project. Here you can specify simulation name, simulation directory, and many other settings that we'll cover on another tutorial. So here I'll just click Next on every window and finish. After the simulation is set up, you can double click the simulation project in the project panel and it opens all the simulation files. Other useful options in the CC3D project menu are open a CC3D project, save project as for version control, zip a project, add a resource, add a parameter scan, which we'll cover in another tutorial. You can also access a list of the last projects you've opened on Twedit. You can select to show project panel and also close project. Another thing you want to do from Twedit is opening player by clicking this button, Start CC3D. This will open player. But it does not necessarily load the simulation you are working with in Twedit. To guarantee that it loads the simulation on player, you can right-click your simulation in the project panel and then click Open in Player. This way, when the player opens, it opens with the simulation loaded. If the font is too small, you can use the command Ctrl+ to increase the font size or Ctrl- to decrease the font size. This is especially useful when you are sharing your screen, showing your code to another person in a meeting, and they are having difficulty seeing your code. In these other menus, for example, the CC3D menu, you'll find code snippets that help you develop your simulation. For example, if I go to the XML file and open in between two blocks as a space. Here I can come and select, oh, I want to include a contact plugin. If I click here, it will introduce a contact plugin for me. You have to be careful that it has to be on a blank space outside other blocks. If I do this inside another block, for example, inside this spots block, and then I come here and introduce another plugin inside the pots block, this will generate an error. Another thing you have to be careful about is to respect the brackets notation. So if you type something here inside the brackets, you are disrupting the bracket notation of XML, so be careful with those. Similarly, for your Python simulation, here in steppables.py, you can also use the code snippets by going to CC3D Python. And then here you can, for example, I want to visit all cells in the simulation. It will give me a prepared code, in this case, accessing all the cells of the simulation. Or let's say I want to create a new cell, so I come here, CC3D Python, cell manipulation, create cell, and it gives me this code where a cell is being created and I can add it and modify. There is another menu for CC3D development using C++, but this is more advanced and we will not cover it on this tutorial. Other options that might be useful in these big buttons here in the menu are to open a project, start the player, starting a new file. This is not a new project, this is a new file. Opening a simulation, saving a file. So for example, if I modify this file, I can press this button, it will save. Or I can also see that it's red here. I can also press Ctrl S and it saves. This ensures that when you run the simulation, your changes are incorporated in the simulation. You can also save all, which means if I made changes here, I made changes here and here, I don't need to save them individually. I can just press this button, save all, and all the simulations will be saved. You can also copy or use commands, for example, Ctrl+C in Windows. You can paste or use command Ctrl+V on Windows. You can also cut or Ctrl+X. You can also increase the indent, or you can, instead of clicking that button, you can also click Tab, which increases the indent. Or you can also do that for a whole chunk of code. For example, if I select this and click Tab, all the lines move to the right by one tab. And I can decrease the indent, or instead of doing that, I can also click Shift Tab, which decreases the indent by one. Other buttons are Find, which is the same as Ctrl+F. Here you can find words in your documents. For example, if I type the word start and find next, it will show me where in the code this word appears, and I can also replace by something else. For example, if I want to replace the word start by the word beginning, and I click replace, see that the word start got replaced by the word beginning. Of course, this is all examples. This is not something that actually will work in the code. Other than that, you can also toggle bookmark. This creates a mark in the line, or instead of clicking this button, you can also click on the right side of the number and you will create markings in your lines. If you click again in these arrows, they will disappear. And lastly, the configure button, which is the same as coming in configuration and configure. Here you'll find options for simulations. In my opinion, the most important one is in style config, changing the background of your simulation. So the default is a white background, which I don't like. I actually prefer the deep black, and here is where you can choose the one you prefer. And you can also change the font. So for example, you can change to the very superior Comic Sans, and this is how your simulation will look like. Another thing you can do in Twedit is commenting, creating comments. In the XML, you can just type like this. This will be considered as a comment. Or you can also write something and then click Ctrl/, and it will create these comment brackets, which you can expand and write other things inside. In the Python, you comment by writing a hashtag and writing something, or triple quotes, and inside the triple quotes you can write anything you want. And if you want to comment a chunk of code, for example, I want to comment this piece here, by clicking Ctrl/, you comment the block, and you can also uncomment by using the same command, Ctrl/. Lastly, I will show you how to add a parameter scan and how to remove it. So if you right-click your simulation in the project panel, there will be this option of Add Parameter Scan. If you click this, it will generate this parameter scan file, which if you open here this drop down and double-click this file, this is a JSON file with the parameter lists. As you can see, there is nothing inside, but if you go, for example, to your XML and select a certain parameter, for example, I'll select here temperature. And if you right-click here and you click Add to Scan, you have to give it an identifier, for example, temp, a minimum value, a maximum value, and how many values in between. Generate, it will generate a series of numbers between 1 and 10, 5 in total. And if I click OK and allow it to reload, you'll see that now temp, this parameter, is initialized in the parameter scan. So now when I run the simulation, it will run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 simulations in total, each simulation with one of these parameters here in order. And if I go back to my XML, you notice that my temperature parameter is now called temp with double curly brackets. So if I am running a simulation with parameter scan and now I don't want the parameter scan anymore, then you have to remove resources. So you select that, right click, remove resources, yes. Now I don't have a parameter scan anymore, but this is not a valid syntax anymore. So I have to correct this parameter back to what it was, which was 10. Now it will run again. So just a tip, in case you added a parameter scan and you don't want it anymore, or if you want to add a parameter scan to your simulation. And you can also add other resources. For example, if I click on add resource, I can add other things, for example, a PIF file or a concentration file, but this is topic for another tutorial. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment down below or go to the subreddit of CompuCell3D and create a post asking for help.